think the best kind of learning, the deeper kind of learning, the one that inspires joy and curiosity is when you know who's in front of you, when you know what their interests and their strengths are. We have always used play and story and characters to make sense of the world. We connect more with what we're learning, also learn about ourselves in the process. Actually, I'm underwater right now. I don't know if you can tell, but with my hair, using the underwater hair dryer, the hair remains clean, fresh, and ready to flow with the water. So I'm launching a new project with Recess soon. It's going to be all about being your best self.
Hi, I'm Maddie.
And I'm Ella. We are homeschoolers. We met through a homeschool platform called Recess, where we found our passion for learning and podcasting.
Exactly.
Come join us on our journey of self-directed learning as we dive into all the things about recess on our
Recess Rundown Podcast.
And we will hopefully see you there.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Recess Rundown Podcast. Today's guest is Elana. She's a community builder, trainer, and facilitator. Her passion is bringing people together in a joyful and playful way. Her specialty is where play and education intersect. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited for our conversation.
So I'm really excited to have you as a guest because I love theater. It's something I always love. I've really gotten into it lately. And for a podcast about homeschooling and recess, we end up talking about it a lot. I got into it a few years ago, and I've just really never stopped. I'm always auditioning, really just trying to get into shows, mainly musical theater.
That's really exciting. It's such a fun way to express yourself, no?
It really is. I really want to do a deep dive into theater education, like I've talked about it before here. Why do you think that theater and this is good for kids?
It's such a great question. I think for me, the main reason why theater is good for kids is because it's through play, right? I mean, when we think about when we're young, even younger than you are now, when we start learning about the world, it's often on the playground, right? We're making up different characters, we're pretending the playgrounds are castles and forests, and we're princesses and soldiers and all of these different things. And so even when we don't know how to necessarily speak yet, or how to speak in these kind of big sentences that we kind of do now, we have always used play and story and characters to make sense of the world. So I think in that hand it is very aligned with how we already learn as people, right? Through stories, through play, through games, through characters. But then when we get to the actual cognitive part of it, drama is doing, right? We pretend to be different people. We are embodied. We take part in our learning. And so from a cognitive, like a mental standpoint, we learn deeper. We connect more with what we're learning. We're able to not only learn about what we're learning, but also learn about ourselves in the process. So it's like a dual focus, right? We have the content that we learn, we have the play, the story, but we also have this really rich learning about how we feel when we read the story, how we empathize with the different characters, how we gain confidence and grow, So there's lots of different benefits. I would say, again, to summarize, it's because it's how we have always learned. It's how we've always made sense of the world. And there's also a lot of really great skills like, confidence building, imagination. I mean, you both have done drama before or currently do drama, so you definitely know what it's like. So lots of different benefits there.
I think the drama definitely helps on the podcast side of things. Memorizing questions, or like you said, the confidence to actually go up to someone and be like, can I interview you?
Yeah, absolutely. That takes skills, and that also takes courage. So drama definitely can help with both.
Yeah. What got you interested in drama, and did you always want to be on the educational side of it?
Yeah, really great question. So when I was growing up, I grew up a little bit internationally, a bit in the United States, a bit in China, a bit in the UK. But when I was going through school, I took drama. Actually, I'll tell you a little story. I started with band in fifth grade, and I was terrible at it. I played the French horn.
Oh.
Terrible, terrible. The instrument was so heavy, and I sucked basically. So then in the sixth grade, I thought, okay, well, I'll try band again because, music is important and everyone is playing these instruments. I'll try flute. So then I started with the flute, also terrible. I'm not a great musician, unfortunately. And then in the seventh grade, I thought, okay, well, you know what? No more instruments for me. Let me try some drama. So then I tried drama and I was like, oh, this is really cool. So then I continued with drama from seventh grade all the way until high school, the end of high school. And then I always loved it, especially because in high school I had a really great teacher. His name was Brian Lee from Shanghai American School, and I still remember him. Actually, we're still close friends. And he inspired me so much. And I think that's the mark of a really great teacher. What they can do, they can inspire you to love the subject, because you can see it through their eyes and they help you connect with it so much deeper. And then I ended up choosing it for university, and then I went on to do it for my master's. So yeah.
Yeah, I love how you had like such a great relationship with your teacher. I think, like you said, definitely very important.
Hmm. Yes, definitely very
Yeah.
important. People that inspire you are always good to connect with and to have around, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. That's really cool. I have known you, Elena, for I think almost 2 years. I met you on another online community when I just started homeschooling. And your classes really inspired me to become a writer. And I remember taking a creative writing class, and I enjoyed your writing prompts a lot. And I still enjoy writing prompts a lot now. And how it really broadened my imagination. Do you still teach creative writing?
Yeah, great question. Thank you, Maddie. Yeah, we've known each other for so long, and I'm so happy that we're reconnecting here on Recess. Do I still teach creative writing? No, I don't teach creative writing anymore like I did before in this kind of fixed online club kind of way. I'm open to it for the future. It's definitely something I'm passionate about as well. And holding space for creativity, that's what I love, regardless of what kind of creativity it is. But at the moment, no, I'm not teaching it anymore. I only do creative writing myself, but not as a class.
So you said you still do a bit more writing now, but do you regularly write? Do you usually do it? And have you ever written a play?
Mm, great question. So for regular writing, the most regular writing that I do is journaling. So it's more thinking about a prompt and writing about it. So it could be related to my day or my week, or it could be kind of a random prompt that I choose sometimes and then go from there. That's mostly the kind of writing that I do now. And then, have I ever written a play? Ooh, very great question. So, the kind of plays or the kind of theater that I like to do is something called devised theater. So, it's something slightly different to plays or musicals as such, in the sense that for plays and musicals, you have, your characters, you have the specific lines, you have the blocking, you have the set, you have everything, the lights, everything very clear for you. And then you can take that script and you can go to different places, different theaters, and you can perform that. The type of theater that I like to produce or to make more is devised. So, devising or devised theater is a more fluid style. So, for example, we have one topic. I just finished a devised piece here in Barcelona with a group of kids that I work with, and we did a devised piece on technology. So, we'll explore technology for the whole term. We'll explore technology through movement, through stimulus, through pictures, through music, through lots of different ways. And then, as we're doing that, we can collect bits and pieces, writing that they write here, maybe a little monologue that they create, maybe a little dialogue they create, maybe a choral stylized movement sequence. So basically, we have many different pieces, and then we kind of mishmash them and put them together into an original piece of theater. So it's not writing. I do very little writing. I more prefer to create the space for the people I'm creating with to explore and to play, and then we kind of put it all together into a performance that they create. So, not writing a play in the way you're thinking, but in a slightly different way.
Huh. Interesting. I've never heard of devised theater before.
Hmm.
Yeah, me either. Yeah, writing a play sounds really fun. It's kind of
Hmm.
like writing a story with lots of dialogue.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah, maybe yeah, now I'm kind of interested in writing plays. I feel like writing stories and drama go like so well for together for a class. It would be cool for you to a class on writing a play. Have you ever taught a class like this? And would you be interested in doing that in the future?
A great question as well. So many good questions. I love it. I have not thus far taught a class specifically on writing a play before. Now, in university, we learned all about how to write plays, and we did write plays, for school, but I never taught one, especially for kids. So that's definitely something I would be open to in the future. You think that that would be fun?
Yeah, I think lots of kids would be. I think they'll like that.
Yeah.
Okay, noted.
Talking about like having plays, you teaching a class of how to write a play in recess. What if or would you be interested in doing a play at recess? Like kids will sign up and they'll get their like document of their what they have to say for their play, and then they can perform.
Hmm. Yes, definitely. And I kind of love the idea of putting the two together. So maybe it could be two different groups, right? One group writing the play, coming up with the ideas, creating the story, and then the second group is doing the very formal almost process of auditioning and sending in their videos and practicing their lines and then having a final piece. I have done an online play before, a long, long time ago, with a school that I used to work with in London, and that was very nice. We had lots of fun with that. It was also a devised piece, but there was more fixed dialogue with some
Hmm.
music, some movement as well. It was cool.
Oh, I think there have been one or two plays that have happened at recess before
Oh.
in Creative Genesis where kids, it's a writing class, creative writing, and the kids wrote their own play inspired by the Lorax, and I think there was one about the cat and the hat. I think it would be cool to almost have a collaboration between the drama playground and Creative Genesis.
That's a really great idea. I think writing and drama, really do go hand in hand. And it sounds like there's already drama happening at Creative Genesis.
You've kind of been talking about your performances. Have you done a lot of them? And what's been your favorite one?
Ooh, I have done a lot of performances. Now, I have to preface it when I say done, mostly I'm on the back end. Yeah. So I'm not on stage in front of people. I don't do that so often. Maybe I've done once or twice, for example, in university or for a special project. But in general, you'll find me behind the scenes because when you intersect drama and education, that's something called applied theater. So, applied theater is when we use the form of drama. So, what we talked about before, the stories, the games, all of these kinds of things. But rather than for the stage, for audience, for performance, it's more for the process and that creation. So, sometimes it does turn into a performance. For example, in Shanghai, for 2 years, I worked as a musical theater director, actually, for kids at a performing arts center there. So we put on lots of different musicals. We put on, what do we do? Put on The Cat in the Hat, or Seussical the Musical, it was called.
Oh, that's a good
Put
one.
on Alice in Wonderland, Peter Pan, Moana, lots of different musicals. And there it was the product, but still I wasn't on stage. I was in the backhand making sure that the students were prepared and,
Yeah.
were excited. So it's more that. And my favorite performance, it's really difficult because I think each one is a really unique experience. It's, again, I think for me, it's less about the final product itself, but it's more about the process that goes into it. When I see like a kid that starts and in the beginning, maybe they're very shy and maybe it's hard for them to use their voice, and then you see them like burst on stage and shine. That's really exciting. So choosing my favorite might be a little bit difficult. They're all special in some kind of way.
That's awesome. I love like coming out of your shell because like I am kind of a shy person and I feel like I come out of my shell in theater a lot
Mm-hmm.
with the just being on stage. It feels completely different. I'm not me. I'm no longer myself just on the stage. I am that character in wherever. So I recently did Newsies Junior. So I was a newsie on the streets of New York.
Mm-hmm. That's very cool. Congratulations on that performance. And yeah, that's the beauty of it. You're not you. You're a newsie, right? And so you can put on a different character. You can be who you want to be. And even though you are acting as someone else, those skills that we learn, the fulfillment and pride that we feel from standing in front of people and performing, that carries back with us when we become Ella again, when we become Maddie again. So that's kind of the beauty of the drama.
Yeah. Is there a production that you wish you could perform in?
Ooh. I love a musical, I must say. I love a musical. Is there a production I wish I could perform in? I think just for the sake of it, performing on Broadway or the West End or something like that, maybe a classic musical like
Oh,
The Lion King. Wow, the set is amazing for that. Or Harry Potter with all of the effects. I feel like that would be really fun. Um, so I think more for the experience, and definitely I would choose a performance that's unique in some, I mean all performances are unique, but some like a Cats, or something very different. I think that would be fun just to play with the different characterization of it. Yeah.
yeah. I actually recently saw both The Lion King and Harry Potter.
Did you enjoy them?
They were honestly amazing. The sets and like lighting, the way they did the special effects was crazy. The
Yeah.
Lion King, you had people dressed as like full on elephants, which is like 8 feet tall,
Mm-hmm.
walking around down the aisles. It was amazing.
Yeah, it's a great musical.
Yeah. What is your favorite production that you've ever watched?
My favorite production that I've ever watched. The Lion King is up there, The Lion King is up there. And also, I watched this the first time I went to Broadway in New York. Beetlejuice.
Oh,
Yes, because it was very random. And I don't think I had ever even seen the film. Maybe I watched the film before, but I kind of went into it with no expectations, and because of the nature of the story, the way they did the different effects and everything, it was amazing. It was really amazing. I mean, they had magic in the story, right? And so putting on magic on stage is very, very challenging, and they did a fantastic job. And I walked out after watching, Aladdin, a lot of different musicals. That one was my favorite. Yeah.
yeah, Beetlejuice is a pretty fun musical. A theater near me actually just did the junior version. I wasn't able to go watch it, but I heard it was really good. It's quite kooky. It's fun.
Yeah, exactly. I think I like the kooky a little bit,
Yeah.
I also see on your website that you do a lot of team building workshops.
Mm,
What has this been like for you? Like building connections must feel so empowering.
Yeah, I think so. A little bit of context. The way I grew up, I talked earlier about growing up internationally, and that basically means I'm something called a third culture kid. So maybe one of you are. I'm not sure. It could be. But a third culture kid is someone that grew up in a different culture than both of their parents, right? So even though I was born in America and I'm American, both of my parents are from Taiwan, but I grew up in China. So it's like different places. So I grew up without this sense of home necessarily. So if you ask me the dreaded question for third culture kids, what's home? I have no answer for you, right? Is it Houston? No, because I don't live there. I didn't grow up there. Shanghai? No. London? No. Barcelona? Oh, it's difficult. So I think when I do this team building and when I create space for people to connect with each other and to form deeper bonds, deeper friendships, deeper work relationships, and empathize and understand each other better, that is something I really enjoy. And I think that's something that I learned from growing up in so many different places. And maybe you know this too, as international people. That's always been something that one, think I'm quite good at because it's in my identity as well. And two, that I really enjoy doing, that I can see I can create this space for connection and everyone's getting along, everyone's having fun, everyone feels good and safe. Love that.
You were in Houston?
Yes, I was born there.
Oh, I actually used to live there for a while.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Well, I was from when I was 3 to 7. I
Hmm.
lived there.
I lived there from when I was born till 10.
Nice. Yeah, it was fun. It was great, and there's a great community of homeschoolers in Houston. It was really nice. The mosquito bites were not so nice.
Yeah. But another thing about your website, I love the quote on your website. A facilitator is a blend of a teacher, a director, a supporter, and a guide. You can create or meet objectives by using this relationship as primary resource. I feel like this should be the future of education. Can you tell our viewers what you meant by this quote?
Yes. Wow. I don't think I've been quoted to myself in quite some time. So I'm going to be a little bit cheeky and pull the quote up myself so I can take a look. Yes. So a facilitator is a blend of a teacher, a director, a supporter, and a guide. Yeah. And what I mean by using this relationship between you and the other as a primary resource is in my practice as a facilitator, an educator, it's really important to get to know who you're working with. And I think that's whether I am working with kids, whether I'm working with adults, whoever I'm working with. The most important part for me is to figure out who are these people, and what are they interested in? Because ultimately, I can have my own agenda and I can say, I know what you need, and let me teach you, and I know best, but you know yourself best, right? And so I think the best kind of learning, the deeper kind of learning, the one that inspires joy and curiosity is when you know who's in front of you, when you know what their interests and their strengths are, and you're able to weave that into your classes, into what you do, so ultimately the relationship you have with the people that you're working with is the most powerful. So how can we learn from that? How can we tap into that, and how can we use that to our advantage to make sure everyone is having the best experience possible? And that can be from teaching English, right? Or it can be from building empathy in a corporate environment, or it can be fostering creativity or confidence, whatever the objective is. Using this relationship is the best and also the easiest, for me at least. I don't want to tell you what to do all the time. I don't know. I want you to tell me what you want to do, and then we can go from there.
That's nice. I feel like you were saying how you were friends with your teacher, and I think that's almost come through. I guess you're saying that you now want to almost know more about your students and be like less like a teacher and more like you're saying a mentor or a friend.
Mhm. Absolutely, absolutely. And when you're inspired by someone and you're able to stay connected with them, that becomes a lifelong relationship, and that might change. It can be from teacher to student to colleagues to whatever that relationship might look like. That can stay with you, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, that's really cool. I like that. You have an extensive experience in education. Where have you found all these opportunities? I think I maybe want to be a teacher when I grow up. How do you get yourself out there and network?
Yeah, that's such a good question. I ask myself that often as well. um, so the work that I do, I am an educator. However, I don't work in schools full time, right? So I work a little bit of everywhere. It can be with homeschooling or online platforms. It can be with different clients working with educators. So I do teacher training, for example, as well, or I do a lot of professional development workshops for teachers or team building for different organizations. So it's a little, I have my finger in many pots. And in terms of how I got these opportunities, most of it has been very organic. And so what I mean by organic is one client that I work with quite often, monthly in China, for example, I do online trainings for them. The person who started that company, we did our masters together in London, and she went back to China, and we've kept in touch. Or, for example, with Recess, actually, it was Maddie's mom who introduced me to Recess. So that was after I reached out to Maddie's mom because I read the book that was published. What was it called again, Maddie?
The book I wrote with Annie and Angela, Girl Squad, The Enchanted Gem.
Yes, the hidden gem, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So I read that and then I watched the interview and then I wanted to reach out and just say, wow, it was so amazing to read and to see that come to life. And then we started chatting and then it turned into me being here at Recess. So a lot of the work that I do now, it is word of mouth y. Yes, I do network. I go to different events where there's similar types of people that might be there. It could be an online call or it could be a physical event. And then you kind of trickle through. And also, I would say I'm a little bit of a connector myself. So, for example, someone might ask me, "Oh, can you do this?" For example, maybe last year, someone reached out to me and said, "Oh, can you do this course on outdoor education, forest school, learning outdoors?" Right? And I wasn't available. I wasn't there. But then I thought, "Ooh, a year ago, I met someone who does this exact thing. Let me find them and let me connect them with this person." So then I make that connection, and then in the future, maybe the person will have the perfect opportunity for me and then connect me again. So a lot of it is being aware who's kind of in your hemisphere. I don't know if that's
Bubble.
the right word, your
Yeah.
orbit, and then making those connections and also, checking the sites, seeing what's up. And if there's something that looks interesting, always popping in and seeing what's up. And I think not being afraid to say hi as well. Maybe we have a call, maybe we meet in person, maybe it goes somewhere, maybe it doesn't, but still you never know further down the line where that might lead. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. I think theater has a lot of networking as well. Like you were saying, just with musical theater. I'm just saying this. I've only done musical theater, but like knowing the right directors, or because if you go to a new theater, they're going to be like, oh, okay, you've done these shows, but we don't know what you can do
Mm-hmm.
quite. So you have to know the right people, go to the right places.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
You were talking about, how you've moved a lot, and you're a third culture child, and you've traveled the world. And how has your experience been like teaching people from different cultures?
It's a really, really good question. It has been rewarding. It has been challenging. It has been fun. It has been really scary sometimes too. So all of the above, basically. I think I'm very privileged to have access to many different cultures. Being born in the U.S., growing up in Asia, now living in Europe, understanding that so much of the way that we behave and the way that we show up in the world and the thoughts that we have. Yes, they're us, of course, we are we. We are we. Yeah, we are we. But at the same time, so much of us is our culture, how we were brought up, what our parents taught us, what the community around us instilled in us for values. So actually, when I do cultural training, specifically multicultural diversity training, I always talk about the iceberg. You know, an iceberg. This is what I would imagine an iceberg looking like, by the
Yeah.
way, like this. So the iceberg, you can really only see the tip of the iceberg, right? So you can see 10%, but actually the other 90% of the iceberg is completely hidden. And this is the same with culture. You know, there's 10% that we can see. Maybe we can see someone's culture based on maybe how they dress or the type of food that they eat, the kind of celebrations that they have. But actually, 90% of the way someone operates is completely hidden. We have no idea. So when we are connecting with other cultures, there might be someone who thinks what you're doing is quite rude. Oh dear, this person's very rude. But actually, in your culture, maybe it's not rude. Maybe it's polite to be this way. Yeah. So, for example, we're falling into the cultural stereotypes. But for example, here in the EU or in Europe, um, like Dutch people, right? People from Holland. They're known to be very direct. Boom. If they don't like something, they'll tell you, oh, that wasn't very good, you know? And that's not rude. That is directness, that's transparency, honesty, and that's something that is an important value, right? For this culture, Dutch culture. But for example, in Taiwan, the culture is very indirect. You would never say to someone, oh, I didn't like that. You would kind of dance around the subject. You would dance around it enough so that that person knows they didn't like it, but you won't say it. They won't say it, but we both know, right? And so we can imagine if a Taiwanese person and a Dutch person might get into conflict, they might be thinking the other person is quite rude, but actually it's just completely cultural. So oftentimes within a training space or within a group of people, it's about being aware. Okay, what are the dynamics here, right? What can we do so that everyone knows there are dynamics there? And sometimes that's saying in the beginning, you know, we're coming from different cultures. Let's be open. Let's be kind to each other and ourselves. Let's ask questions. Let's try to get to know the other person. And so setting that awareness can be really helpful. And then also just myself being aware and then seeing where I might need to adjust expectations or jump in or clarify things. Yeah, spoke a lot about that, but actually that's been on my mind quite a lot recently. So I don't know, Maddie, if you're reading my mind or something.
We also did some more research, a little bit of stalking, not really. And we saw that you did a course on AI and education. What are your views on AI and how it can be beneficial to education, maybe especially for kids?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, very relevant question right now. My views on AI. I view artificial intelligence as a tool, right? So, like any tool, we can use it to do amazing things, or we can use it to do scary things, or we can use it to do things that might not be that helpful, or things that are very, very helpful. So, it really depends on how we use it, right? So, for me as an educator, what's important is for me to share the knowledge of how to use AI in a responsible way. And so for us as the consumer, we can think about how we want to use it and what kind of tool we want it to be for. You know, 100% we could use AI to do all of our work and to write all of our things and, you know, not create anything ever again. But actually, the beauty of being human is we're really creative, right? And while AI can also appear to be creative, it's all patterns, right? So we can use, rather than having AI create for us, we can have AI brainstorm for us, give us some cool ideas. We think of one idea we really like and then apply ourselves and do it instead, right? So I think there is a lot of potential. I think it's a very exciting new tool, but also I think we need to remember that it's a tool. So it's what we make of it, right? So we can choose what we want to do for that.
I love that. I really agree with that.
Yeah, I agree to that perspective. But a question we always ask on our podcast is, what did you want to be when you were a kid? Did you always want to be a drama teacher, or like, and did this change over time?
Mm-hmm. I'm going to tell you a little bit of a secret for recess rundown. Uh-oh. Actually, when I was younger, when I was very young, maybe younger than both of you are now, I did not want to be a teacher. I wanted to be an assassin.
Oh.
And I don't think I really understood what an assassin was, but I think I liked the idea of mystery and, being different characters. So I guess there is some theater in there. But I think what I really wanted was to be a spy, but I really liked the word assassin. So I said I wanted to be an assassin for quite some time. And then, of course, I realized that you have to kill people, and I don't really want to do that. And then over time, I realized, well, I don't think I'm mysterious enough to be a spy, really. So then I found theater, and here we are.
I feel like if I was a spy, I would be very clumsy and accidentally drop something, and everyone know. They'd just say, "Oh, that's you. You're the spy."
It's really hard.
Yeah, it sounds really hard. I think I'm so clumsy in just the first place, so I'd probably be horrible. Being a spy sounds really cool, but like still, I think it wouldn't suit for me.
Fair. Me neither.
Yeah, but another question we always ask the racist guys: would you have wanted recess when you were a kid?
Would I ever have wanted to do recess when I was a kid?
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think recess and platforms like recess and communities like recess, they provide this sense of autonomy. And autonomy basically means you doing you, right? So you have choice in what you want to do. And I believe there's this idea that kids shouldn't choose and we know what's best for kids, but that's not true, right? You know what's best for yourselves, and of course we do need structures in place to protect everyone involved, but you being able to say, hey, I want to start this kind of community, who wants to join? Or hey, I want to do this podcast, can I do it? Yes, I can. Or hey, I actually want to choose the classes that I want to take based on my own interests, and I want to create my own, even, this level of responsibility and choice that's given at recess is so powerful because it's teaching you, and correct me if I'm wrong because you probably know better than me, but it's teaching you you can, number one, and two, you should, right? And then I think that sets up a really good precedent for when you go on and you get older. I want to do something, so I will do this project. And you have that space to explore. And I think that that's really important for education. So, absolutely, I would have wanted to do that as a kid.
Nice. I feel like a big part at recess is kids being able to choose, kids choosing their own courses, or
Mhm.
if they want to run a course, all that. And speaking of kids choosing their own courses, you run a class at recess at the drama playground. The drama playground is so a class that you do. Can you tell our audience about it? And have you seen growth in the kids that you teach, or just all of
Sure.
the kids that you've taught ever?
Yeah, so I run the drama playground with Recess. I started just this year, just a few months ago, so still kind of new to Recess. But essentially, what we do is it's a space to play, right? So every week on a Monday for an hour, we come in, we move our bodies, we go into different worlds, different characters, different stories, and we explore. And so, what I really like about the drama playground is, again, like all of my sessions and kind of like my core ethos, is I provide the framework, the structure, right? But how we want to do it, the way we do it is completely up to the kids. And so I like to do topics. Topics help me with the structure, right? So, for example, this month we're doing the topic of space. So, everything that has to do with space. So aliens, different planets, different universes, that kind of thing. And then based on that, we'll do different sessions with different topics each week around the bigger topic. So yeah, that's what we do at the drama playground. It's really good fun. I am really enjoying teaching and working with all of the kids there, and definitely a sense of growth. Actually, right now I have a lot more kids joining, so it's very cool. We have a new dynamic in the space, and we're kind of seeing how that goes. So it's very new, just this week, just yesterday. So that's exciting. I'm excited to see these new kids grow for sure. And then in terms of growth in general, I see growth in everyone that I work with, and that's regardless of if they're kids or if they're older. Definitely with Maddie, I've seen big growth. We were working together before, and a lot of my kids, all of my kids, there's always some kind of growth. And I think growth looks different for everybody. There's not one right way to grow, right? We all grow in different ways that are all beautiful. But definitely one of my favorite things about doing what I do is seeing that growth and being able to remember, oh my goodness, 3 months ago they were like this and now they're like this. Before they were too shy to raise their hand or to say anything, and now they're the first ones. So definitely the growth is always there.
Yeah, it's amazing to see that. Really, really fun.
Yeah.
Through our stalking, we heard that you love scuba diving and salsa dancing. How did you get into those? Especially the scuba diving. That sounds like so much fun.
Yeah, so I do scuba dive and I do salsa dance. For the scuba diving, I believe I was on a weekend trip somewhere. I don't remember. I think it must have been in China. And there was the option for scuba diving, and almost everyone went to scuba dive. And so I remember sitting all alone on this boat on the river or on the lake. I don't remember where it was. And everyone was under the water. And then they came up and they were like, we saw such cool stuff. We saw this underwater city and this and that. And I was like, well, that sounds really fun. I want to do that. So then I started that. So it was very random. It was just because I experienced the other side of it, was just waiting on the boat, and I decided I wanted to try it. So then I got my license and I started diving, and it's a really nice recreational hobby to do when I'm traveling if there's water available. And then for salsa dancing, yeah, I started it because a friend invited me because she didn't want to go by herself. So we went together. I really liked it, but I didn't practice that much. That was before I was living in Spain, where I live now. And then when I moved to Spain, there's a lot of salsa dancers and a lot of salsa events here. So then I thought, okay, well, I have to learn properly now. So then I started like kind of taking it seriously. And that's something that brings me a lot of joy here now.
That's really nice. I love the dancing part of theater. So really, really cool.
Yeah, a musical theater fan,
Musical
absolutely.
theater. Yeah. Not for good at it though.
Yeah, scuba diving sounds really fun. I'm not a fan of going into like deep water. I don't even like the feel of fish. I went to Mexico one time and I'm like, get away from me.
I feel that. I feel like 90% of the time when I'm scuba diving, it's very peaceful and I'm just with the fish and in the water. And then 10%, I'm like, oh my God, I'm 35 meters under the water and I'm freaking out. And then I have to kind of regulate my breathing,
Yeah.
and then it's better. But I understand.
Yeah. Even the lakes here in Canada, like, and they're not, I mean, kind of deep, but I don't go that deep.
Yeah.
Even there, I'm like, I can't see anything.
Yeah.
You went to Spain. You're in Spain. You went to China. You've been to so many places. How many languages do you know?
Know or speak?
Speak.
Okay, yeah, it's different. So I speak English, that's my mother tongue. I speak Mandarin. I speak Spanish now that I'm living here in Spain. And I can speak a little bit of Taiwanese and a little bit of Catalan, which is what they speak here in Barcelona. But I don't know if I would count those two. So I would say three, really.
Wow, that's cool. Yeah, I'm really interested in learning a bunch of languages, but I don't even think I have the time to. But yeah, that's so cool. Yeah, so we also read that you love sushi. I love sushi too. What's your favorite type of sushi? What do you like? What type of sushi do you like to eat?
I'm a classic lady. A salmon sashimi.
Ooh, yeah, I like the spicy salmon.
Ooh, yeah, good too.
The hand, I especially like the spicy salmon hand rolls. I think
Mm,
they're good.
rolls are very good as well.
Ella, do you like sushi?
Um, I'm not a big fan of fish in general.
Fair.
Yeah, I understand. Like, just the thought of thinking of you're eating a fish. I mean, it's fish. It's a slimy animal. But it actually tastes not that bad, in my opinion, though. So, would you like to play a game?
Always.
This game is called Sell Me This Nonsense. Have you played it before?
I don't know. Tell me about it.
Okay, so we will come up with absurd project for you to pitch. Seriously. And after we tell you the product, you'll have to pretend you're filming an ad for it and try to make us buy it.
Okay.
And then in the recess comments, our viewers, yes, that's you, can vote on what product they would rather want to buy.
We
Okay.
have stuff like underwater hair dryers or a like inflatable dartboard.
So I have to make up the object, or you're making up the object?
We're making up the object, and you have to pitch it to us.
I need to get my advertising hat on.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So the first one is underwater hair dryer.
An underwater hair dryer. So how long do I have, or I just go for it?
I'm gonna give you a timer. I'll give you. What do you think? Like you need for it?
You tell me.
I would say I'll give you a minute and maybe 15 seconds.
A minute and 15 seconds. All right.
Okay.
Underwater hair dryer. Right, give me 10 seconds to think. Underwater hair dryer. But the water functions, sorry, the hair dryer functions underwater?
Yes.
It works. It dries the hair underwater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right. Okay.
Okay. Whenever you're ready.
Do you love the sea but hate getting your hair wet? Do you want to look like a mermaid under the water, but actually with super nice hair? Well, then I have the perfect product for you. Look no further than the underwater hair dryer. It does not matter if you are in the shower, if you are under the bathtub in the water, if you are in the sea swimming with the fishes, or even in the deep sea going with the submarines. I don't know. Whatever you like to do for fun. Well, then you can still do all of that and more. You can do that with a fantastic hairstyle like mine today. Actually, I'm underwater right now. I don't know if you can tell, but with my hair using the underwater hair dryer, the hair remains clean, fresh, and ready to flow with the water. So get this product now. It is a fantastic product. It's going to help you make sure your hair stays picture perfect no matter where you go. And actually, it's on sale right now until this Friday only. So get it now before it runs out and make sure you get ready for an underwater picture perfect photo.
I think
Right.
I might just need that.
Yeah.
That's great for scuba diving.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great idea. I should have added that in there.
Yeah. You had 6 seconds left,
Ooh.
so your timing was great. Yeah, let's try a few more. Okay. Let's do a solar-powered flashlight. Tell us when you're ready.
That's a really good one, actually. I keep looking up in this corner, just letting you know, because I see a spider. It's quite big. It's just chilling, so it's relaxing. So please just continue to chill. Okay. Well, it's okay. It's kind of far. Okay. Solar powered flashlight. Is that right?
Yes,
Yeah.
whenever you're ready.
Last month in Spain, breaking news, there was a whole day of apagón, otherwise known as Black out. For one whole day, the entire country of Spain, some parts of France, some parts of Portugal had no electricity. This means that when the sun went down and the sky became dark, we had no light. We couldn't cross the street. We couldn't look at the menu for a restaurant. We couldn't do so many important things that we needed to do. And you know what would have solved it? Well, a solar powered flashlight. Charge it during the day when the sun is strong, like here in the Mediterranean, and during the night when we need light the most to walk our dogs, to get groceries, to catch the bus home, to journal in the evening, whatever it might be, then we need something like this solar powered flashlight. So this is not just a flashlight. This is light. This is life. This is giving you the quality of life that you deserve so that your day does not need to end when the sun goes down. You get to choose. You're the master of your own life. Get the solar powered flashlight and take back control. I think you might be muted, Maddie.
Yep.
Sorry. Yeah, you ended exactly on time.
Oh.
Nice.
Yeah, your timing is really good. Okay, are you up for another one?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay, self-cleaning clothing.
Ooh. All right. Okay. Self-cleaning clothing. Are you an athlete that has things to do all the time? One workout right after another? Are you a kid that loves to play in the mud, roll around in it, maybe eat a little, but not too much? Are you a mom that has kids that run around, do crazy things, and you're just trying to get to school the next day, get to all the appointments? Well, then I have the perfect product for you. Self-cleaning clothes. It is now available in every edition. We have the self-cleaning t-shirt, enough said. We have the self-cleaning pants, new colors, a wide variety based on your choosing. And our newest product that's definitely going to be the highest seller is our self-cleaning underwear. No more do we spend hours on end doing laundry, folding clothes, doing this, doing that. No. With our new patented nanotechnology, we are going to have self-cleaning underpants. Once you use them, you simply press a button and it self-cleans and you can use it right again the next day. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Make your life easier and buy the pack. There's a discount, by the way. The shirt, the pants, and the underwear. So self-cleaning clothes, you need it. You know you do. You're stinky, but you don't have to be.
That was
Yeah,
really,
very inspiring. I love
stinky.
that.
That got a little bit silly in the end, sorry.
No, that was amazing.
Yeah, I like the part where you eat mud.
But not too much, just a little.
Just a little. You went over 2 seconds. Your timing is still really good though.
I mean,
Okay,
yeah,
let's.
we have Brienne's question. Brienne was our last guest, and her question was, if you were to imagine a mood ring on your finger, what color would it be? So, a ring that reflects your mood.
If I was to imagine the spider has moved.
Oh.
It's still hanging out. Sorry. The mood ring color. If I was to imagine a mood ring on my finger, what color would it be? What are the colors of the mood ring? We have the purple for awesome, or we get to choose.
Yeah, you can do whatever.
Ooh, I think that my inner consciousness went with pink, right? So I think if I was looking at a mood ring, it would be purple. Because for me, purple represents like joy, peace, tranquility. That's how I feel right now. Also, inspired. To you girls is very inspiring. I would say that would be the color of my mood ring, like a purple.
Maddie's very happy.
I would definitely think like purple would be kind of like feared, like kind of scared, like in the movie Inside Out.
True.
But I think for like if I were to have my mood ring, and it would be like I would have it as blue, kind of like as calm, creative, ready to be like inspired or ready to be out there. But
Ella,
yeah, sorry, go ahead.
oh, I said, Ella, what about you? What color would you
I
be?
think I'd be orange right now. I'm feeling I've just changed my braces color, and that's orange. I'm not sure if you can see, but I have duck eyeliner,
Oh,
and it's
I
got a
love
little
it.
orange beak. Yeah, I've been going around with my ducks on my eyelids. So yeah, orange. If
Nice.
you were to create a question for our next guest, what would it be? Anything.
Anything. Maybe it's an oldie but a goodie. If you could have any superpower, what would it be? Has anyone done that question before?
I don't think so. No,
If you
Oh,
could
not yet.
have any, ooh, you could have any superpower, what would it be? I always think that's really interesting.
yeah. That's a good one. Like it's really classic.
Mm,
But good.
oldie but a goodie.
Yeah. Oh, it's the spider moving.
The thing is, I can't tell if it's inside or outside.
Oh, is it on your wall?
It's on my window.
Do you have any final thoughts?
Do I have any final thoughts? Well, first of all, Ella and Maddie, thank you so much for having me here on the Recess Rundown podcast.
Of
It's
course.
been very fun to chat with you. You have had such thoughtful questions. I really enjoyed making myself think and sharing a bit about what I do and also all of the other questions that you asked. The game was so fun, quite challenging actually.
Yeah, I know.
Objects. And yes, I guess to everyone watching, you're always welcome to the Drama Playground. Come check it out. Come say hi to me. Add me as a friend. We can have a chat. I'll be around in community hour. And actually, I'm launching a new project with Recess soon.
Ooh.
I'm not going to tell you what it is. It's a little bit of a surprise, but it's going to be focused on drama, of course. But it's going to be all about being your best self. So we'll learn more about that as the time comes. And yes, thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
Keep an eye out for that new event, everyone.
Sadly, it is the end of the episode. So thank you so much for being on the podcast. It was really fun to chat, play the game. That game was really fun. I think it's really cool to pitch an ad. I think I'm probably going to play with my family sometime soon. That sounds really fun. But yeah, it was really fun to get to know you.
Yeah, it really was. If you are part of the Recess community and would like to be on our show, please email us, Ella and Maddie, at recessrundown@gmail.com or message us directly on the Recess platform, and we will make sure to get you on the show.
Please like and subscribe to our channel. Maybe hit that notification bell, and we will see you guys in the next episode. Bye.
Bye!